Right, so this is week 4, trying to wrap up week 4, set of ideas. And just a reminder that I think that would be good, and I think I'll post the update here tomorrow, that people should email me regarding the teams, so that I can start planning on like who works with who, that we have some teams, and it's okay if you decide to work individually, right? So if you'd like to be, some people already emailed me, so for some people I already have the information, but generally speaking, I think ideal size of the team would be 2 people. Just like it's very productive. It's basically dialogue that you can have and help each other, and then decide who does what and move on. But anyway, that would be something I'd like to know. And also let me know if you need any help with coding or programming aspect of the project, and keep looking at the project. So just so that's the overview, and then I also would like to show you that, of course, we have this tentative schedule, and we're trying to work through weeks 2, 3, and now 4 and 5, moving on to the territory of UML and discussing what UML is and what UML can offer to us. But I also would like to show you that there is also a set of like a video notes towards the end of it. So take a look at this. This is almost like a duplication of this outline, but there are some videos, some posted on YouTube and some that you can just download and use your video player locally to view some of these notes. It's basically like formal overview of some of the topics we discuss here. All right, so again, this is part of the schedule. There's like the last link here talks about presents some of these video notes that you can take a look at. All right, so today I'd like to kind of wrap up the requirements modeling. So we basically say that we begin with, usually we begin with the business requirements. Business requirements document, right? And so it describes the business model, right? So it could be, I'm thinking of an example, just to give you another example. Perhaps you can say perhaps some kind of scheduling system, right? If we want to talk about scheduling system, we can obviously think of specific business domain. Say it's a school, right? School, college, a university, right? So we can have school, we can have divisions, departments, right? We can have department chairs. We can have, let me just use like department chair. We can have instructors, right? Again, just instructors. Then we can have, of course, courses being taught. We can have different kinds of these courses, right? So we can have traditional lecture. We can have it online. Online version. We can have hybrid and others, other types of modalities that can be used. Then on the other side, we have, these courses occupy some kind of time blocks, right? Time block. is something that we can use to assign to these courses. And I think the courses themselves, because of these varieties of course types, right, and some of them may require directly time slots and rooms and things like that. They cannot be directly linked to some time block, so we need some kind of section, right, of the course, which then includes a set of attributes specifying how this course will run and what kind of schedule it will have. So time blocks could be like, also there could be different varieties of these, right? So we can have day block, we can have night or evening rather, right? Evening block. We can even have like a weekend, something special for the weekend. We can have weekend block. We can have half day, and we can have all day. All kinds of things that we can invent that we could, use in terms of the structure of our time blocks. And finally, this was thought of as a scheduling system, and now we can think of a schedule. Schedule is basically as a collection of these blocks, right? Which could be of different types. These are all the types that we can have right here, and then they're all apparently the kind of the time block that we can have, so we can start making some connections here on our whiteboard, thinking about all of this, right? So the schedule is a collection of these blocks, but they can be of different kinds. The section apparently will be assigned, for simplicity, let's say specific block, right? And then the course, again, I keep using plural, but I would rather use like a single type of noun to describe these items we deal with. So the course will specify what sections are available, and the course will obviously be of these different types. Okay, so it could be the course itself can be of different types, and I'm using like arrows here to indicate the relationships here. The course will be assigned an instructor, and I think it's really the section can get different instructor, right? And so instructor could be a department chair. So department chair is like a subset of instructors. The department will have a set of instructors available, and the school will have basically a set of departments, right? So it's sort of like helpful to sometimes visualize things by simply using the whiteboard. So I'm trying to think of a system, and when I think about the system, we need to be able to identify the types of business objects that we're dealing with, right? And so then the next iteration of this, and what we're trying to do is like, this is the scheduling system we're more or less all familiar with because we're all using it, right, every semester. In my view, what I'm trying to think about is that I'm already familiar with the requirements, business requirements, and now I'm trying to do some analysis. And then the outcome of this should be that I need to discover basically these business objects, right, business domain objects that I need to deal with, and this is easy to validate with users at this stage. They can say, oh, you forgot the section, right, or you forgot that there's also a hybrid type of course, so this helps out to visualize and validate our thinking. So then we begin this requirements modeling iteration that we can start visualizing, and I can start another basically another whiteboard view of this is that I can begin to also, like on this diagram, I just try to visualize relationship between different kinds of objects in the system. Then I can switch over to the view which looks like this, like across the top. I can position these business objects like this, right? And I can say, you know, what happens. So supposedly we could display these business objects like this. And if this is our timeline, what happens, right? So, for instance, in order to you know, create a time block in the schedule, what needs to happen? So in itself, this is a use case, right? Use case of the system, say, I don't know, like maybe create section or something, right? Create section. When we create a section of the course, what happens? What do we do, right? So perhaps we need to create a new section, right? So this is our section instance. So we could display it by simply saying, okay, this is like a main entry point into the system, and so what we do, we say we need to create a new, let me use different color for this, we can say we can create new section, right? And so the section will be created from this point on, right? And we can create this as an object, like this. So the object begins its life cycle. It starts to exist. And new usually indicates a constructor, right? So this, just do a better writing here. New, okay, right? So then creation of the section may require you know, an existing course, right? An existing course that we need to specify the course, and we can interrogate the course for some more information. So we may have to call another object and say, you know, provide us with some more information, which in itself could make a call to another object. And this type of analysis can be described as use case analysis, right? Use case analysis is basically, okay, we're trying to identify useful objects in the system, and how do they interact? So what happens over the time if we try to use them? And this is, by the way, is called, we can say that this is a call sequence diagram. Right? So we can try to analyze the use case, put together use case by looking at who is involved and what's involved. So the outcome of some of this type of, you know, more formal view at interaction between these objects give us some idea that we can put together description of this use case, create section, and describe what needs to happen, right? So we go through these use case analysis. The outcome of, and this can be iterative because we could be adding other objects to this view, right? And so use cases, of course, are not just diagrams. They're mostly like, you know, paragraphs of information describing what is really happening in this use case, right? But additionally, we can use some of this type of diagramming, trying to analyze what really happens during the use case. Also, on another scale, I guess, we can talk about overall the progress of the design, right? So we go from design right? So all the way down to implementation. And implementation basically equals programming, right? Actually doing some programming. So once again, what happens between the initial stages of the design and the final implementation when the actual programming happens?